while I was away in Scotland, which you might see some pictures and videos of on maybe a different channel. I was just road tripping with the wife in the 206. I had this out, basically, so the carpet and the underlay, which is completely rotten. I've got some more underlay ordered. Underlay! Carpet over there. And we found out the cause, I think, of why it was getting damp in here, is there's a little bit of water coming through from the heater box. So that's something to investigate. I reckon that where the air comes in, there must be like a mouse nest or something. So that's fun to find. So it's not like structurally getting rotten. I think water's just been dripping down over time and then sits. So it's just a surface rust. So I'm going to clean all this off. I'm going to put some crust on it. And while that's curing, I'm going to see about fitting a new master cylinder, which I believe is leaking from there into the servo. Let's hope so anyway. So let's get this cleaned up. I'm going to scrape it off, hoover it off, crust it, then paint it, put some new bungs in, because they're a bit all brittle, and I might try and warm them up and use the originals if I can. Otherwise, we'll just get some new rubber bungs on, which I got for the Mini. Cool. Now, we're only using the cheap Peugeot 300 because we don't want to take too much material off. We're just trying to get off the flaky paint, really, more than anything. It's actually much more solid than I had even anticipated. It looked so bad, but is literally just like a flash rust almost, where it's got damp in here. So just quick tips. We've got the cheap Peugeot 300 doing a nice job. Very nice. Just takes off the bits that's going to prevent the ruster converter to get in there. Nice. But if there's some stubborn bits like in here, well, you can turn this into the cheap Peugeot 300 Plus. If you've got the wire wheel going one way all the time, just flick it to reverse. Ooh, plus mode. Quite hard with one hand because it's the plus. All the torque. There you go. They got that right out. Okay, turn to the 300 non-plus. There we go. Nice. Let's give that a hoover and see what we've got. Less of a mess, hopefully. So, that is loads better, but as you can probably see, it's still quite damp up in here. So we're going to get some fans on it, not necessarily to heat it up, just to get the flow going, and it will dry out within a day or so, and then we can apply the crust. It also looks like someone tried to jack it up on the floor here from underneath, so we'll just give it a little bit of a whack to get that flat again. You could just about feel that under your heel, and might as well square that up while I'm here. So that'll get that up sorted, and now let's turn our attention to that sticky switch. Let's get under the power barn. Yes. So, yeah, I mean the fluid is almost gone, and that was topped right up before I left, so it's leaking somewhere. I'm presuming it's leaking at the back because it's not leaking anywhere else on the car. Yeah, and my plan is to bench bleed it, and then I'm going to draw as much fluid into this caliper with the pads off, so the little pistons out, and then once I've bench bled it, pop it back on as quick as I can, and what I'll do then is push the caliper pistons back in. I've never done this before, but I'm going to try to push the air bubbles back into the reservoir. That's my plan anyway. If it doesn't work, I'll just bleed on all four corners, but that seems like a bind, and I don't want to do that. Right, let's do the thing to take the thing off and take the pop and whoa! So it suddenly occurred to me that the fluid goes down, but actually once it's below the clutch feed, it stops going down. And there was like a little bit of rust in there, but not enough to like compensate for that much. And why wouldn't the floor in here have been dried out? It's been like 10 days, it had heaters in here for a couple of days. I'll tell you why it hadn't dried out. Because it wasn't water. If you look up here, to the clutch, you can see, just about hopefully, that it is damp. So it's the clutch master cylinder that is leaking. Which is, you know, it's fine, because at least the clutch master cylinder is about 5 times more difficult to do than the brakes. And I've got a brake master cylinder, not a clutch master cylinder. So that's great. Ideal. Dang it! So that's off, and once again, a few bolts that came off They were completely rusted, but didn't snap or shear or ruin any threads. Amazing. All came out beautifully. So we have a little bit of a nest down there, so we're going to try and hoover that out, see if that helps. I want to see where the intake for the air is, and make sure that we've got like a drainage somewhere. There must be a drain there somewhere, because rain can just go straight down there. So we'll have a little look at that. Hopefully we don't have to take the wiper mechanism out. That'd be a bit of a bind, but it's probably just like 2 bolts or something. Might just take that out anyway. Those plastic hoses look a bit fragile, mine. Maybe we'll just try and suck it out from here. I got brave. The 2 screws, bolts came out easily, obviously, and even the little earthen wire. And I do think we might have found why it's been leaking down inside the car somehow. That might be doing it. So somewhere in there is an air intake, and then somewhere in there will be a drain that will be lower than the air intake, so obviously that water can just get gone. So let's get the hoover on that and see what we find. Oh, by the way, quick shout out to AAA, who have often provided me parts, etc. Not for free, they're good motor factors. Chipping Norton, AAA. And I know for a fact I help them fall asleep by producing videos for them. So shout out to you guys. Right, let's use the pristine home vac, because my shop vac's broken. So what we find. Okay, it looks like there's the drain. Yeah, there's the drain. Oh, it's still blocked actually, thumb's in the way. You can just see it down there. Definitely blocked. And then the air intake is probably, I don't know where the air intake is, just above here or something. But that's definitely blocked. So let's get a poker in there and see if we can unblock that, I think. Good idea, Piggy, good idea. So here's our issue. You can see our little pool of water. So the drain is draining very slowly, but obviously as that water would build up, it would just get to the level of the heaters and just start dripping out inside there. That didn't look wet in here at the moment. And there is a drain slowly dribbling out. You can see that there. It's not dribbling out as fast as I'd like it to. So what we'll do, get ourselves a little bit of welding rod. Using our bent welding rod. Get through the bend. It must be a bend down there. There it is. God, that is really jammed. Gunked up in there. It's dripping, but not... I mean, there's bits of mud on the floor. We'll keep her going at that, and then we'll show you something better than dirty water. I think we've made some progress. Let's get a little bit of water. Our welding rod worked a treat. So we pour the water down here, like rain. Immediately it drains straight underneath, rather than it draining into the car. So that is a win. So we shouldn't get any more water inside, and we're going to order a clutch master cylinder, and that'll stop the brake fluid coming inside. That'd be nice. All the fluids outside of the car, all the fluids. Alright, so I haven't replaced the brake master cylinder, because upon investigation inside the vehicle, as mentioned in the last part of this video, which I recorded about 4 weeks ago, the clutch master has been leaking. So not the brake master, clutch master. So that's down there in the crevices of this vehicle, but it wasn't actually that difficult to replace, if I'm honest, compared to some clutch masters which are like dash out, engine out jobs. And nothing, as usual, with this vehicle. How it's usual, I don't know. Did break, seize, snap, strip. This is original flexible Hydra line with little rubber fittings on the end. All fine, all brilliant. It was like 20 quid for the master cylinder, and we're away. So that hopefully won't be leaking into the cabin, and then what's going to be left is I will clean that out today, and then we'll rust treat that floor, and then we'll be able to paint that floor. That's the reason it's been rusting down there in that horrible zone. The brake fluid's just been dripping down slowly and just... So, Once I've treated that and painted that, I'll show that I've got some nice new genuine wool underlay. Hasn't got the rubber edge like that. I might put some of my own rubber in there. It's obviously an extra bit of protection, and then we'll give that carpet a good clean. And we're really close, to be honest, to having a vehicle which I want to drive this summer, and then maybe you be the one to take this vehicle on next. Drop it down in the comments or message me if you're genuinely interested in taking this vehicle on after me for adventures. It's awesome. It's fun to work on. I've pretty much sorted everything else out now. It drives lovely. And we're going to get a little tune-up anyway soon. Sort the points out maybe. Haven't touched them yet. Scary zone. Let's get that sorted. Friendship.